Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of Spoken English and Broken English by Bernard Shaw. This is actually a speech given by the Irish writer and critic George Bernard Shaw in a radio, and the transcription is given as an essay for us. Here, Shaw talks about the various ways how people speak English and how there is no actual perfect model of speaking correct English. And therefore, he says about speaking broken English, that is, English without grammar to non native travelers who are coming to travel in English speaking countries. He begins the speech by saying that when they are hearing his voice, maybe it will not be his real voice. That is, he says that once when Mr. Ramsay MacDonald spoke on a gramophone record, Mr. Ramsay MacDonald is the parliamentary chief. The gramophone operator said that the voice was not like Mr. Ramsay's voice, and he corrected the gramophone speed so that when people hear it, they will realize it is Ramsay MacDonald's voice. So, in the same way, now they are recording his voice, and he says, I am not sure whether the voice which you hear will be my real voice. And then he starts by saying that I assume that the people who are listening to me are foreign students of the English language. And he knows very well because when students visit England or America, they want to speak in perfect English. But because they are foreigners, they think that their tone or their dialect or a grammar is not correct. They may make errors in it, and therefore they are ashamed to speak in English. But he assures him that there is no correct model of English. Not even Britishers or Americans or any two native English speakers speak English the same way. And he tells the audience that he is a member of BBC, that is British Broadcasting Corporation. And in BBC, there are many writers and poets and even poet laureates and actors as members there. And they all speak in English, but their English is entirely different. At the same time, they are all experts in speaking English. But among them, because of the correct pronunciation, there are also certain differences in the way they speak in English. And sometimes even the simplest English words are not pronounced correctly. For example, he says simple words like yes and no. Even yes and no will be said in different way by these people who are experts in speaking in English. But in spite of that, they are easily understandable to all humans. That is, whichever human being is going to listen to them, they understand what these people are saying. And Shah says that he himself will not speak in the same way all the time. Like when he is at home on the breakfast table and his wife is just standing 6 feet away, instead of pronouncing a word entirely, fully correctly, he will only mumble them. Sometimes even his wife will not understand it properly, and even she will scold him and she will ask him to speak properly. And he says, not only me, you just listen to any common family through a keyhole. You will find that the family members are speaking to each other in a mumbled, unclear way. But the same members, when they open the door and when they speak with others, they will start speaking in a clear and publicly understandable way. And this only is the difference between common manners and family manners. In company manners, you will see to it that others understand you. But in family manners, you know that the other person will understand what you're trying to say, and therefore you will take it for granted. And this company manners and family manners applies to everyone now. And another difference he gives between company manners and family manners is that if you are going to ask time to a stranger, Shah will have to say it very properly so that the stranger will understand that he is asking for time and give him the answer he requires. But if he is going to ask his wife what is the time, he will only say clocks it. And his wife will understand and tell him the answer. Shah even says that he is talking to the listeners more carefully than how he will talk with his wife, because they should understand. Therefore, he is talking in the company manners now and not in family manners. And then he talks about the presentable model of speaking English. He says that out of 1000 people, 999 people speak very bad English. But everyone can understand what they are saying because each one is talking to the other person in the presentable form of English. The problem will come only when a native English speaker hears a foreigner speak. And it is true that no foreigners can speak English in a proper voice and tone like a native speaker. But sometimes to speak proper English, foreigners also get the grammar wrong. And that will make it more confusing for a native English speaker to understand what they are saying. And therefore, in order to make themselves more understandable to a native English speaker, Shaw asks them to speak in broken English. That is, to speak in English without proper grammar. That is, if you want to ask where is a train station at Charing Cross, just say Charing Cross, which way? Immediately the native English speaker will understand that you are a foreigner and he will make more efforts to understand you. And this will make it very easy for you to communicate with the native English speakers. And he concludes his speech by saying that one should not fear traveling because of the fear of speaking bad English. Then only they will realize how little they need to know about speaking understandable English. And at the same time, he also says that if foreigners speak in very good English, then it is an insult to the native English speaker. And if a foreigner is able to speak in very clear English, and if the native English speaker cannot understand his own mother language, then that is also an insult to the native speaker. Therefore, he tells you speak in broken English, which will make your communication easier. And to speak in broken English, one does not require much. All he has to have is a loud voice, minimum efforts, and a very basic knowledge of the language, and he ends his speech here. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.